Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having an incredible day or night in Jesus. We're looking at the Apostolic History Outline, Marvin Arnold, going year by year, decade by decade of the Apostolic Church and other bodies called Christian throughout the years. So we just use his base textbook. I make some comments, some other things I've studied over the years. Let's get started. Thanks for being here. So we're in AD 662. Marvin Arnold, by the way, did the yeoman's work before the internet. Just amazing. Islamism was strong. Muslims had the Quran, their holy book. Bernstein and Green, 172. Muslims in Spain were the Moors, and they protected Jews and other one-God Christians from Catholic interest, which is interesting because there was a lot of Priscillians, which are oneness, in Spain in the 800s. Catholic bishops had rulers war against the Celtic Apostolic Christians in Western Europe, and that's fascinating in and of itself. This era of history, try to find some unbiased, like a Latourette or somebody that's dispassionate and is not coming with a theological agenda. That's the best way to read history of this time, usually. AD 663, the Catholic Party had a basilica in Canterbury, but it was a minority group. It angered them to find that Rome's fake Greek lunar Easter was ignored. And that is, I've read some of that from history. The two religions fought it out in King Oswey's court. E.T. Thompson, Through the Ages, page 107, and Locke's 196. Now, that's not to say that everybody who was fighting the Catholics were apostolics. Again, it is obvious that almost all Indo-Europeans were non-Catholic. J.B. Russell, page 8, and also 172 to 181. And that's just, at this time in history, demonstrably true. History is written by the victors, but if you do micro-history, history on the ground, that's just the way it was. AD 670, King Oswey died. He had been oneness apostolic, but he had wavered towards the Roman party. And I've studied Oswey maybe some years ago. Hope he was oneness apostolic. AD 675, Boniface, or Winifred, was born a Catholic missionary to Western Europe. He used military force to make converts. That's William Langer, page 150. Remember, later during the Inquisition, they just wipe out whole towns, Catholic and otherwise, and say, well, the Lord knows those that are his, you know. AD 680, the Sixth General Council of Constantinople. AD 695, Jews were killed in Spain, according to Roth, page 135, and J.B. Russell, page 49. Adult Jews were martyred in Spain by Catholic believers, and children of Jewish parentage were seized and reared as Catholics. See Roth, page 127. This will be known as the Marranos. And so forced conversion is a terrible thing. Nobody should ever force anybody. You know, Jesus said compel them to come in, but he's not forced conversion at all. Continuing Jerusalemic Christianity was found in several modalistic monarchian organizations. These were generally referred to collectively as Cathari, but by a ton of other names, and we see this in the various primarily Western synods and councils, not seven ecumenical per se, but sometimes there, and they would constantly be pronouncing anathemas and other various denigrations against these various groups, and even occasionally mentioning they're numerous in certain areas and all this. AD 600, the Desponiae, Acts 2:38, Jewish bishops were mostly extinct. That comes from Malachi Martin, Decline and Fall of the Roman Church, page 42. Greatly respected, they were descendants of Mary, the mother of Jesus, Zacharias and Elizabeth, and had directed several Mid-Eastern Judaic Christian areas. Now that's fascinating. Like when you read a history of Domitian, and Domitian in the late 1st century says, I'm going to kill all the seed of David and all this. These are just fascinating snippets of history. This is great work by Arnold to pull this out. And most had been martyred by militant Catholics. Quote, by the sword, Roman garrisons hunted them as outlaws, according to Malachi Martin, page 44, Decline and Fall of the Roman Church. AD 610, Arians and Oneness Apostolics were close and had common social cause. That's true, because the government institution was against them, but they kind of maybe outnumbered them. And most Arians by now use the Christ water baptism. That's Daniel Rops 110, 112, J.P. Russell, page 8, tells about apostolics at the time. Arians were using Jesus' name baptism way back in the 4th century. Gothic Bibles were in widespread use, that's true. And a bunch of other Bibles were, there were hundreds of different translations of the Bible, various languages by this time. And in Western European lands, that's Craig Lamp has that. In Western European lands, the masses of Arians and Apostolics worshiped together. Quote, splendid voices of the Germanic choirs soared to the heavens. Rops, H. Daniel Rops, page 111, spirit-filled glossolalia filled the lands. AD 610, Jesus' name water baptism, Lambert, page 62. And we're going to stop there and start that next time, because that's a very important point. And, I remember Billy Cole when he was in Thailand, he said when he saw a Greek Orthodox priest, he had been in Buddhist country so long, seeing only Buddhists, they just went running and hugged him and said, I know we are not believe the same, but at least there's somebody that believes the Bible and believes in Jesus Christ and that Jesus is God and all this. And he was like, and so I could see where oneness and Arians would worship together some in those times. God bless you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you. Bye-bye.